The meeting is about to commence. Please take a seat. Well, I will do that in a minute. We still got a 3-minute warning. Please have a seat. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the City Commission meeting on April 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. We will start with an invocation by Pastor Mulberry.
Good evening, everyone. Father, again, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for this time of sharing. We thank you for this time of coming together. God, we pray that you would touch the minds of the leadership here, give directions, give wisdom, give insight, give what to do and how to do, God, that will bring you glory. Let there be no hidden agendas. But God, we pray that you will grant your purpose to be manifested, your glory to be revealed. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Thank God. Amen and amen.
Amen. We're now going to have a moment of silence in honor of Miss Annie Mae Spell, who passed away on April 7th. She was a beloved educator, a pillar of the Palatka community, and a recipient of the City Unsung Hero Award in 2023. Please bow our heads. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by Commissioner McCaskill, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Krantz.
Certainly. Commissioner Tammy McCaskill. Here. Commissioner Justin Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Will Jones. Not present for the record at this time. Commissioner Rufus Borum.
Present.
Mayor Robbie Correa.
Present.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum here in the chambers.
Thank you, Ms. Krantz. We're going to move on to the approval of the minutes for March 27th, 2024 workshop and March 28th, 2024 regular meeting. Do we have a motion to?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to public recognition presentations. St. John's River Bartram Frolic Week, commemorating the 250th anniversary of William Bartram's visit to Palatka, April 24th through 28th, 2024. Ms. Krantz.
Presenting to you the proclamation in recognition of the St. John's River Bartram Frolic Week and commemorating the 250th anniversary of Bartram's visit to Palatka. Now therefore I, Roberta M. Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby endorse and proclaim the week of April 24th to 28th, 2024 as St. John's River Bartram Frolic Week, commemorating the 250th anniversary of Bartram's visit to Palatka in the City of Palatka. And we urge all citizens to attend the Bartram Frolic and take part in the celebration of Putnam County's heritage and relive and relove our river's heritage and history.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Dan?
No.
Or whomever would like to say a few words. The mic is on.
Sure, thank you. This is our 8th annual
Bartram Frolic, and the Bartram Frolic actually started in this room. Um, uh, 10 years ago. And so it's really been a pleasure to do this. We consider this to be an effort with the city of Palatka because it did literally start in this room back when we did. We have now made it part of we've conjoined with the Putnam County School District, and we have a educational program, and we will have educated 4,000 second graders in Palatka, giving them their first boat ride and on the St. Johns River, and educated them about our river, our heritage, and our nature. And it's just a wonderful thing. So I want to thank the commission and Mayor Robbie for having us here and this proclamation. It means a lot to us. And just so you know, it also means a lot to the city, to the state of Florida, because now we'll leave on Saturday and go to Nassau County. And in Nassau County, we'll be celebrating the 250th anniversary up there. And we'll also go from there to Clay County. We'll also be celebrating it there with the Clay County folks. And then we'll be moving, we'll come in here on the 27th, as we said, and then we'll go to Alachua County on the 3rd of May. Isn't it amazing? Just amazing. So what we started here in this room is becoming a statewide project, and we really appreciate it. So we have invitations for you for the frolic, the VIP frolic, which is on Friday night at 6 o'clock in the River Center. And we would like to have all of y'all there to join. The county commission will be there, and we'll have Representative Bobby Payne and some other folks there. And we will be celebrating the start of it. That's how we kick the frolic off, is with at the River Center on Friday nights. So thank y'all very much for that, and we'll leave those invitations with Sonny. All right.
Thank you. And
Thank
as
you.
part of, thank you. As part of that, we're also going to do on the 26th at 6, prior to going inside for the VIP event, we're going to do a dedication or rededication of the River Center, its opening, and also the pedestrian walkway.
That's
So
awesome.
please come on down, folks.
It's a really cool thing. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On to city manager and administrative reports. Update on the Jenkins Community Center, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So our first item is the update on the Jenkins Community Center. So.
Good evening,
Mr.
Commission,
McMillan.
Madam Mayor. So from what I understand, we had requested an update by 1 p.m. today from the Department of State as to a status update regarding any movement at all regarding this project. They had not replied to us by 1 p.m. So unfortunately, we're still proceeding under no update. We're at hold, but everything else is ready to move. We're still expecting the delivery of the air conditioning equipment in May, about mid-month. So obviously that's approved already, and we can install that once it's here.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
And then the second item that we have is the update on the Hank Bryan Park progress.
Well, it's me again. Sunny, if you wouldn't mind putting up the PDFs that we've got. So we've been working with the county draftsperson and engineer to come up with a preliminary concept and specifications. I think there's another page to that. For the actual design of the restroom itself. We've also issued basically a PO to execute a topographical survey and site survey for permitting for the site as well. So once we receive that site survey, what you'll see is the concept, if we get the other page up here, overlaid on that in several locations so that we can discuss the best location based on the needs of the public and probable costs associated with its location within the park.
Any
So-
questions? Are you still, I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I was gonna say, so this is the general layout of the restroom. It's a single story block building, struct face block with a ADA restroom and a hot water and mechanical room storage area off the back. There'll be lighting and a water fountain in front. If you've got any feedback or if you would like to see something else included in this design, we're still in the preliminary stages, so these can be modified fairly easily.
Any questions?
No.
I think our estimated timeline on this is sometime in November to have all of this pulled together if we can stick to the timeline.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the update. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan.
And Madam Mayor, if you will, there was one other item that I wanted to update the commission on. And Ms. Jones, this is in reference to the internship program. So there was a message that was sent out to commission, but I think it would be valuable for Ms. Jones to talk a little bit about where we are with that program.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, as it pertains to our summer internship program that we do every year, we will begin advertising this Monday, April 15th, and it will continue through May the 3rd for advertising, giving all of our applicants and our students times to apply. It will be on our Facebook page as well as the city website. So we were going to announce it at this meeting, and we will also announce it again at our next commission meeting to give the public time if they have children in school that would like to apply for an internship here. So it can be out in that area as well. We will notify all of our department heads. Will be notified the week of May 13th of the interview dates once we get everything in place and get all of our applications in. And we will be interviewing all the candidates that come in on the week of May 20th. And the internship itself will be from June the 10th to July 26th, which is a 7-week period.
Thank you. Any questions?
I don't have a question. I have a recommendation.
Okay.
Aside of the methods that you spoke about, the Facebook as well as the website, I would recommend making contact with a school.
Okay.
And actually setting up during the lunch hour. Several organizations go out to make themselves known and provide information that would allow the opportunity for students to ask any questions that they may have with regards to the internship program that may eliminate some of the phone calls that come through here. So I would recommend setting up an opportunity to be present during the lunch hour to either pass out the applications as well,
Okay.
but also to be available to answer any questions that may arise.
Yes, sir, we can do that.
I think we also want to include in our discussion is the YAP program too, and an opportunity for students to enroll in and participate in that program. Even though that program will not be starting as early as the internship program, I think the opportunity to get the word out and have that conversation in the school system would be valuable for that program as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that said, I'm going to open the floor up to public comment for items not on our agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes and give your name and address for the record. Ms. Kitchens?
Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. I just wanted to take this time under public comments to tell you how very blessed I and you and the entire city of Palatka is to have Ms. Jane West as our city attorney. She is not only brilliant, she is very honest. She knows what she's doing, and she's a darn good city attorney, and we are really lucky to have her, and I hope we keep her for a long time to come. Thank you, Ms. West, for being so diligent and taking care of the city's legal business.
Thank you. Mr. Tavares Clark? Mr. Clark, okay.
Tavares Clark, 601 North 16th Street. I'd like to hold emergency on the agenda for the city of Palatka violating 78166 transfer of ownership. Mayor, you admitted that the city made an error. Your city attorney admitted that they did not follow the proper code for the thing. I lost my business behind this. I'm going to go into prison behind y'all mistake. I ain't do nothing wrong. Y'all transferred my business to somebody else, and I ain't signed no paperwork. I went to jail behind this And y'all still telling me the paperwork that y'all received that I'm liable for. I ain't liable for what y'all did. But on my end, I lost my bid because of what the city did. And then y'all violated me twice. Y'all done trespassed me from the city hall 2 times with less than 6 months. And Commissioner Campbell, for me being a man-to-man, where them allegations come from that I threaten you, I'll never do nothing like that. And this ain't right.
Thank you, Mr. Park.
But y'all gonna post, can I get on the agenda for y'all violating 78166?
We're not going to add that to the agenda. It's not an emergency item that we will add. One of the other commissioners would have to make that recommendation at this point. This is public comment and it's not a dialogue. So thank you.
Mayor, I like,
You may go ahead.
I like the,
Commissioner
I like
Moore.
that, city attorney to, readdress this again, because I thought we was at the end of this whole thing with all of the communication that's gone out, and, so I like for the city attorney to readdress what we arrived at, from our last, communication.
Of course, Commissioner Borum, this matter has been concluded and thoroughly analyzed with significant staff time, not only by our chief of police, but by myself, the previous city attorney, the interim city manager, the previous city manager. This item has been fully analyzed and vetted and determined that the city did not do anything improper here. I'm more than happy to circle back and provide the memorandums that I have previously provided to the commissioners to get up to speed on this issue via email, if that's acceptable to the commissioners.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Commission and staff response. Are there any other commission staff responses to anything? Or any other information? Okay, we'll move on then. Go ahead.
I do mind doing commission, comments. I'll wait till the commission comments.
At the end. Okay, that's
At the end of
fine.
the
That's fine. Consent agenda. Is there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
I like to see I, K, and L.
K and L.
I, K, and L.
Okay, the door shut at the same time. Okay. Anything else?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as printed, excluding items I, K, and L for discussion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Aye. Ms. Krantz.
You're just bearing with me. Madam Mayor, presenting to you in the commission item I, but it's resolution 2024 R77, a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing the execution of a local agency program called LAP agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation for the 2024 Memorial Bridge pedestrian pier replacement and rehabilitation and providing for Scrivener's errors.
Thank you. Mr. Commissioner Moore, do you have a
No,
question?
I just want to get a little background on the project,
Okay.
where, because it's
Mr.
for
McMillan.
the complete.
Okay, yes, sir. So this is the execution of the agreement that designates us as a local area partner, essentially a representative for FDOT to manage and accept state funds related to the reconstruction and renovation of the Memorial Bridge. Recently, within the last year, we've done close to $80,000 worth of repairs to it. It's at a capital level of replacement and repair now. So this is the state kind of stepping in, but it's allowing us to manage the repair of that infrastructure.
Any additional questions, Mr. McMillan?
I just want the community to kind of understand and know how all of this works as it relates to the bridge, or what have you, as it relates to the bridge, and that we, the city, do not own, or maintain the full scope of the bridge, but we work with the state in order to be able to get funds to try and help with what we have to be able to keep the bridge, operational. So just kind of FYI.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. K, Ms. Krantz.
That's resolution 2024-R79. A resolution of the city of Palatka granting reduction of the code enforcement daily and accumulated fines and fees and liens assessed for the code enforcement complaint case number 1741 on 720 St. John's Avenue, Palatka, Florida, providing an effective date, authorizing a release of lien upon payment, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
This is a lien reduction that Mr. Gomez came in and applied for back in January. Can you show the pictures there, Sonny? The property he bought was, had about $150,000 for fines, but he was not aware of that, and due to a search that his title company didn't do due diligence. But when he did or was aware of it, he took, that's the wrong one, Sonny. This is 404 South.
Sorry, you said item K. I have that as 2024-R79.
I see.
That's 720, okay, so. All right, so then, this is 720 St. John's Avenue. This actually was, brought to you, for a lien reduction back in 2023. They had a compliance date to, finish it. They didn't meet that time frame. But since then, they have brought the property in compliance for us, the code violations that we had on file for them. And then they reapplied for a lien reduction. And while the city attorney and myself, recommendation was to go with the original judgment that you gave back in 2023 of $10,000.
So,
Any questions?
And they meet all of the
As the-
administrative costs associated with that?
Yes.
It's all included?
All included.
Okay. I'm good. I just wanted to make sure
Okay.
that we're out in the public.
All right.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. On to L.
I have item L. As resolution 2024-R81, a resolution of the city of Palatka granting a reduction and release of lien assessed to 404 South 13th Street, Palatka, Florida for complaint number 2022-011, authorizing the reduction of the lien and release of the lien upon payment which is attached to the affected property and providing for scrivener's errors.
All right, this is the one we started with earlier. This is Mr. Gomez lease with lien. He bought the property about 5 months ago. When he bought the property, he was understanding there was no liens on it, but his title company didn't do due diligence. Once he was aware of the property having liens, he took action of making sure he bought the property in compliance. Can you show the picture, Sonny? Maybe next time I put it. So as you can see, the top was the issue of the property when he first bought it. The bottom is what it looks like now. My opinion to this is what the blight program is actually was put in place for. As you can see that he has done a wonderful job. He has put an excess of $152,000 into the property to bring it up to compliance. And I think if Mr. Griffin can remember his, I think that brought the tax roll of the 39 to $140 some thousand. So, yes,
I can appreciate that.
okay.
Yeah, and the picture says 1,000 words,
Yeah.
so we appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that, I see that, he is an investor as well, and a lot of times we have people, sometimes investors, they'll go out and grab properties and don't maintain them, and
Yeah.
we put in a lot of work.
Yes.
We're trying to make contact with them to bring them up to their status,
Mhm.
so again, I commend them for that,
Mhm.
so I appreciate the work that you guys put in and where we're at right now.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes.
I think with the program, the Blight to Bright, I think these are the stories that we need to highlight beyond our commission meetings in hopes of sparking a fire for those that have properties that are in this condition. I think, again, these are the stories that we should put out a lot more often.
We'll do, Commissioner Campbell. I actually did a presentation about 4 months ago on some of the Blight to Bright properties that went from where they are to where they are now. We'll definitely add that to our website and other places so you can see the difference of how they have brought some of these properties in the city to compliance. and actually doing a wonderful job bringing the property back. So
Just try to keep that as you're running collage, I
Okay.
mean, as a continuum, just even timeframes or whatever. So we just want to make sure that we capture all of this.
Okay.
Because that's what the community need to understand and see what the city is trying to
Precisely.
do to help remove the blight in the city.
Thank you.
Will do.
Very positive outcome.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. On to regular business, discussion direction request from Animal Rescue Consortium for a funding commitment for low-cost spay neuter capability.
Thank you very much. Just about how much time do I have? Do you mind my asking?
5 minutes, and please give
That's
your
what I
name,
thought.
name and
Okay.
address for the record.
Sure. Diane Kelly, 123 Lakeside Lane, Crescent City, Florida. You may recall I was here speaking about 2 weeks ago regarding, and you do have some information in your package as well from us, but I did speak to the fact that we really desperately need in Putnam County a low-cost spay and neuter capability. It is something we do not have today, and most surrounding counties do, other than Bradford. And the purpose of Ginny Oakwood, who is the president of Animal Rescue Consortium, she and I did present 2 weeks ago. And what we're really trying to do is set up that capability actually in Crescent City, but it is a mobile capability. So it would be, for, just as a recap, a fully equipped surgical trailer that can be moved to different parts of the county. Spay and neuter is critical to help better control animal population, reduce the demand on animal control, and certainly to help with affordability in our community. So I did want to just kind of recap at that point. I did want to also remind the group that right now, Animal Rescue Consortium does provide some low-cost services for folks in Palatka and other areas in Putnam County. That's largely vaccinations, heartworm testing, feline leukemia testing, and vouchers. We do provide vouchers when we can get grants where possible, so that folks can get other services done, including intermittently some spay and neuter services at a low cost. But we need a capability where it's readily available to folks, and we don't have the tremendous demand that we have today, and we don't have as many feral cats, et cetera, in our community. When we presented last time, one of the things that the group asked for, and I believe you all have a copy now, I brought it tonight, is an outline of the cost of the trailer, what's included in the trailer, what are those key elements. We do have that, and you'll see that the trailer itself is about 151,000. It does have some other items that were discretionary items. And also the estimate of the total grant that we're seeking, it's 171,000 is what we're looking for, not from you, but 171,000 total. But you'll see a summary of what those key costs are for the actual trailer itself. And you'll notice that it does include the actual physical building itself. It does include the examination table, the surgical table, the lighting, the electricity, the air conditioning and heat, and other critical supplies for a medical facility. We do have a grant that we are attempting to seek, and that is with the USDA. It is not final yet. It does look positive, but until it's fully authorized, we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch. We will know by the end of this month. If we do not get the grant from USDA, we will get it from somewhere. PetSmart is another area that we're looking at, but we want to see what happens with the USDA first, because it does look very, very positive. So I do have that outline in your what was handed out today in terms of the costs of the trailer, as well as a building. We have a building located on the facility at ARC, which is in Crescent City, so that we can do pre and post surgical preparation when we run a lot of animals through in the course of a day, because we can do 20 to 30 animals each day for spay and neuter. And the cost will be about 25% to a homeowner, to an animal owner, about 25% of what it typically costs at a veterinary practice today, retail. So the building upgrade is about 20,000. The trailer is 151,000. So we're looking total for 171. You also asked that we let you know what funding has already been committed. And in that information I shared today, we do have 25,000 committed by Putnam County Board of Commissioners, and this is all contingent upon securing the grant. It's not, we're not asking for a check right now. This is all contingent upon securing the grant, but we are asking for a commitment. We do have a commitment from Putnam County. We do have a commitment from Pomona Park for 5,000. We have presented twice now with Palatka. It does look positive, but they need to see what kind of funding they have, how much they can contribute. So that is not finalized yet. And Interlochen, that's something that we'll be meeting with them in a couple of months because they want to wait until we get closer to the next fiscal year budgeting process. So far, nobody has said no, but we don't have yeses from everybody. We don't have a yes yet from Palatka. Palatka is a key, your residents are a key beneficiaries because of the 11,000 plus residents you have and the amount in poverty who really need this kind of help. So I hope that helps. I hope I'm at least touching on some of the key points and providing the information that you were seeking.
Thank you.
And I hope I stayed within 5 minutes,
You
but
did. You're good. Thank you.
okay. But that's what it is. I'm asking for a commitment.
Thank you.
Okay.
Discussion?
Well, you mentioned the 107, the total cost, which is the 171,900.
Right.
Touch on that 43,000 right there. That was
Sure.
part that you omitted.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't specify that. The grantor funds about 75% of the total cost of the capability. So that 43,000 would be the balance. Now, they have not said to us, go out and get commitments right yet, but it is coming. So that's why we're trying to do our homework now, trying to secure commitments, not checks. So that's where the 42 or 43 comes up. It's about 25% of the total cost. Good question.
Anybody else have any questions? Any thoughts, discussion?
It looks like that leaves 13,000 that they will be seeking if the grant is approved.
What's that? I'm sorry.
13 So basically 13,000 left over if the grant is approved because they'll pay.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because we've got 20, yes,
Yeah,
because we've got
$30,000
30,000 committed. Yes, absolutely. Now, Crescent City did say, the mayor did suggest to me and Ginny that once we meet with the municipalities, come back to them if we have a gap and how much, so that we can hopefully, but they didn't say we're going to write a check when the time comes, but hopefully we'll be able to get their commitment as well. But so far, I mean, Palatka has been very positive, but money's tight. So we understand that. And the other thing that we did share with them is, and we would share with you is, right now it's midway probably through your finance cycle and you probably have money committed. And you might say, well, I don't have any money this year. It's all committed. In that case, it would be fine if a commitment is made for a payment in your new fiscal year in October. For example, if this trailer, assuming we get approval for it, it's going to take, it's build to order. So it's going to, in fact, I talked with a company just the other day who would be on our radar screen, but it would take about 4 months to build it. So once we get the approval for the grant, we write up the outline of what our commitment is to the grantor. We have to put about a third down, then a third midway, and then pay the balance after.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. Oh, did you have a question, Mr. Bell?
Yes, if you don't mind, Madam Mayor. So this trailer would be mobile. Would it be something that could be brought here to the city of Palatka?
Yes. Yes, yeah, it would be. And in fact, Putnam County, we made agreements with Putnam County, and we would do the same with you. And we made agreements with them just because they said they wanted the same thing, but it wasn't like it's going to be all the time, but that it is a mobile trailer, so it can be pulled by a large truck. So that's not a problem. And Putnam County said, yes, we will approve it, but here are a few things that it's conditional upon. That was one of them, that we made a commitment that every quarter we would stop by 2 or 3 areas within Putnam County and schedule these days and do 20 or 30 animals, et cetera. They also asked that we commit, because this would affect Palatka or benefit Palatka as well, that we commit to handling, I think it was 30 animals a quarter at, just a copay rate, like $35 or $45. But and so we're going to do that. But even beyond that, you might be wondering, well, what would the cost be when business is operational? Typically, a dog, depending on weight, would probably be between $60 and $80, and a cat between maybe 30 and 40. Versus, like my dog was just neutered, and he's a big guy. It was almost $400 at a retail veterinarian. But that's a good question. But yes.
Any other questions? Discussion?
I'm not opposed to us supporting this. I just would like to wait to see what other municipalities are gonna commit to and then coming back. So that'll give us time to look at our finances
Okay.
and make a better informed decision.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of talking to Ms. Cardy and just seeing where or what line item we could use to contribute to this, because I think it is important. We all know we have a lot of feral cats in our neighborhoods. And
Yes.
people are not neutering their pets, and it's a real issue here.
Right.
So,
A lot of
thank you.
suffering.
Go ahead, Commissioner Campbell.
We've actually stated that at our last meeting that we wanted to wait until we've heard back from other municipalities. I would like to give her some assurance that we are willing to make a commitment.
That would be wonderful.
So, I mean, because of course, we still want to wait, but I want to walk away with some form of assurance, the amount not given, but I would like to make some kind of commitment to just let her know that.
We are.
That you're
We are.
in. That's
like that.
wonderful. That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, I believe everybody here is in favor of that.
Okay,
Definitely.
very
Doesn't
good.
matter how much.
Yeah, we
Okay.
was in favor of the last meeting, so.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, I'll definitely come back. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I met the time commitment this time, huh? Almost.
Give or take, give or take.
Take care. Give or take.
Do
I'll
we
take-
need to put that in a form of a motion?
Ms.
Attorney
West?
Yes, I think that would be prudent.
I would make a motion that we offer a letter of support to the organization, to the ARC organization, with the intent of providing funding at a later date, once it is determined help me out here.
Line item
Like-
and the need.
The grant. that they do-
Pending-
that they do
grant.
Pending
Grant.
other commitments.
And conditional upon the grant receipt.
Correct.
Very good.
Second.
A motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
got it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little convoluted. We're going to make a slight change in the agenda, and city manager requested this, and we're going to go to item C before B. So discussion direction FY 2023-24 resurfacing program, probable costs and segment section. Mr. McMillan.
Good evening again. So Commission, this is the next step in this year's road resurfacing program. And this is the product that CHW has provided as a result of the last work order you've issued with them to do geotechnical evaluations and a probable cost for the segments that were selected 2 steps ago. So we've got a couple of things that we can discuss. CHW is actually here with a very high level presentation or overview of their report. If you would like to hear that, we can go into that and then begin discussion regarding potentially making a selection and then a potential secondary selection for future programs. But at this time, I'll ask, would the commission like to have a short presentation from CHW, a high level overview? Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, Ms. Krantz? Believe CHW is here. Hey, there they are.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Monique Heathcock with CHW. I'm here this evening to give you this short presentation. Also have with me Lana Kanachet from our office, and between the two of us, we'll answer your questions about this project. The next slide, please. So the project scope was to perform a geotechnical investigation. That gives us the information that we need to know for cost estimating and later for design. It helps us to know what is present with regard to the asphalt and the structure underneath. Also prepare preliminary construction cost estimate that can be used to assist with budgeting and prioritizing which project is done first. And then we summarize the results in a report for your use. And you can see on the right there, the different zones and the different roadways are listed that we examined for these project scope items. Next slide. So we have an analogy here, the roof analogy, and everybody probably is familiar somewhat with their roof. It needs to be replaced every 15 to 20 years. The shingles protect the wood base underneath. When the base starts to fail, the roof, or when the asphalts fail, the shingles, I'm sorry, the roof fails faster and leaks develop. The longer you go without replacing it, the more likely that base, that wood base underneath becomes damaged, leading to more repairs and more costs. The shingles are like the asphalt layer on the road. The road is made of multiple layers. And so the goal is to protect and replace that asphalt layer in a timely fashion to prevent the lower layers from being damaged. There should be one more slide, I think.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Don't take them yet. It might be early. There we go.
So
Back.
go back one.
There you go.
Okay, so these are some photos of some of the worst areas, but a lot of times it doesn't look quite this bad. But what we did was we took the DOT, Florida DOT has a pavement evaluation program. We modified it a little bit to kind of better suit the local streets here. And we gave all of the streets in this project a rating so that we could kind of prioritize or understand with numbers what the condition of the roads were. So like I said, the photos are kind of some of the really bad ones, but they're also representative. Next slide. Other direction.
Go down. One more.
Okay. So there are different ways, once you know the numbers, once you know the costs, there are different ways to prioritize how do we spend the money? Which roads do we select first? Ultimately, it's up to you. One option is to always pick the worst first. Those also take the largest amount of money per length to repair. If you want to have a pavement preservation program, that's another way to prioritize the funding. That really involves investment in a thorough evaluation of the condition of the roads, and then getting to that top layer, the shingle layer, if you want to call it that, the top layer before it gets too bad. It helps to reduce the amount of money that has to be spent redoing the lower layers of the pavement. Then, I'm sorry, go back. Okay, so then the third is a subjective selection. And that can be like any number of things. You might say we should not be doing the roads in this category because we know we're going to replace the water lines in 2 years or some other utility. Ideally, you would not cut open a road after it's just been paved. So that would be one reason to prioritize one way or another. It may be that certain neighborhoods in the city have received a lot of improvements, and so you want to spread the budget dollars around and select somewhere else. That could be something that drives prioritization. And also budget limitations and expedience. For example, if there's 4 roads, but only one of them fits within your budget, you know, that would be a reason to pick the one road regardless of its condition because it fits within the budget. And next slide. These are the totals in the 4 zones. The cost of the roadway rehabilitation, and then we added a cost for some minimal drainage improvements. So those are totals, so that's a lot of roads together. The report breaks everything out, and I think there's also a table available that kind of itemizes the roads. But those are the total numbers for everything, and I think that's the last slide. Is there one more slide there? Yep. So if you have questions, more specific than that, between us and Del, we will answer those.
Commissioner.
Yes, I had one. You had the numbers up, but what, do you have like the linear footage on those categories?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Actually, later in this discussion, we've got a segment table that we're trying to pull up now that has a breakdown of both the rating, the length and cost per square yard and total cost of those sections, along with some additional information we can walk you through to make a decision.
Anybody else have any questions on this part of the presentation? Go ahead, Mr. McCollum.
While Sunny is still trying to get that up,
Ms. Moore, would you share that spreadsheet, please?
So in CHW's report, they've gone over the entire zone map that was suggested to have this study done on it. And it's approximately 3.57 miles and a total rehabilitation cost of nearly $12 million. That's not necessarily something that's attainable at this point in time, and that we have approximately $500,000 left, or $499,000 left, more specifically, in the road resurfacing budget for this year. So we've broken down every segment within that study that was done by cost, by rating, by length in foot or mileage. And staff is requesting that the commission make a selection or selections that total up to $400,000 to $425,000. And that would leave us $75,000 to $100,000 to execute a work order with CHW for design for that segment that you've selected. And so we've got this table here, and I've got every single segment with an aerial view and some pictures of what it looks like in the field so that we can go through it. I'd like to point out a couple different things within this table for you. So specifically that rating next to or between area and zone, that is a condition assessment that was assigned by CHW. The higher numbers are roads that are in relatively good condition. Roads that are 5 and below are showing signs of significant distress, and would, I guess, is if you would assume a roof is starting to fail, you're starting to get infrastructure or base failure underneath. So the cost for that reconstruction is a little higher, and the condition for rideability is a little lower. So that's a rougher road to drive over. You've got your costs, obviously, and these are preliminary, and they do include some stormwater improvements. And again, they're rough. We get a more refined picture when we do design, but that's what we would use to kind of come up with that $400,000 total we're asking for selection. To the far right, for your consideration, we've got kind of a breakdown. And if you see something with a Y or it's red, those are roads that are in areas that are receiving or will be receiving funding for capital from grants. So as we were stating before, there are some roads that it might not necessarily be wise to select for resurfacing if we intend to do heavy reconstruction of utilities in the very near future, most likely 24 to 36 months. And then the far right, we've got a breakdown of some types of utilities or underground construction that would be necessary, potentially. Yes, sir.
You can blow that up with in the bottom right where you got your
Okay, more from outside is sharing because I don't have the capability of doing it. But I can.
She's sharing this. I know you can.
Technical difficulties, I apologize.
Yeah, because you can blow that up. It is pretty tough to see. Yeah, that's what I said. You can blow it up.
So again, that the 3 columns to the far right just outlines some of the underground construction that would be necessary. And those aren't necessarily things that would prohibit us from doing work in these areas. Specifically for stormwater, some of those costs are already built into this cost table. For some of your utilities, such as potable water or sanitary sewer, there are additional funds outside of the road resurfacing line that we could use to address some of the issues in these smaller segments. And I guess I would like to just request, some discussion as to which sections you may like to get more information on, and we can kind of go through an explanation for them.
Were you looking for that right tonight?
We were hoping to get direction as a selection to move forward into actually design so that we can get this awarded out into the bid circuit for beginning reconstruction.
Right. So,
And keep in mind, you have 4 zones that you're looking at, so.
correct.
Mhm.
Correct. So with all of that being said, I'm
mean,
not sure if I like to look at it a little bit more, just a little bit
Okay.
more time on it before
Did everybody get one of these? I mean, I had it previously and I brought it with me. Okay. Well, here comes another one. I've got one, thank you.
I got one now.
So pushing through another meeting cycle may end up pushing us outside of this fiscal year and resulting in a carry forward for funding. And again, other issues there. And there's the other option, if you would like staff to make a selection, we're prepared to do that as well.
Question with the legend doesn't tell me anything. I think you said that some of them with the, you just said the percentage pavement distress, you're saying some had like a rating of 5 or below or.
Yes, sir.
So
So
if we could have like a legend that can help. I
um,
see the legend, but it don't say, it doesn't.
well, if we move to the next tab, the legend is broken down. There you go. So in the top left, that legend is a range of numbers, obviously. I think the key ones to, if we could zoom in on that a little bit, the key ones to note are, again, 5 and below typically are fairly poor roads. 6 would be marginal, 8 to 10. They may be showing signs of distress, but not necessarily rideability issues.
I like to see all that same house, same place.
I apologize. This is a lot of information to try to take in, and it's a fairly detail-oriented process. These are one of the things that cause me some gray hairs. So I understand, this is a quick decision, but, I'm here to help and provide any color that is necessary.
Any thoughts? I mean, we have people that have the expertise.
Mhm.
And we do not, I frankly don't, I won't say about anybody else, but this is not my forte, so I at least can honestly admit that.
And keeping in mind what Mayor just said, if I had to give some type of direction tonight, I would like us to try to focus on some of those areas that are extremely horrible. If we are in a position to do so, I do understand that, you said there are some phases that in the years to come, there may be, some other construction. So if those are within that site, I would yield to those who are a little bit more well versed in that. But I do think it's time for us to address some of those areas that have been neglected for so long in order to try to bring some kind of compliance. Because essentially, it's costing our residents when they have to continuously drive over those horrible roads. And sometimes if it costs them, that means it costs the city as well, with whatever kind of claims that may come forth. Even if they're not vetted claims, that still take away from time from our staff that has to go through all of that kind of stuff. So again, I would like to address some of those areas who have been neglected for a while, if at all possible.
Yes, sir. And if I can even narrow us down, if you go back to the first tab, please. Just for discussion purposes, the ones that are in zone 3 that are highlighted green on there, those cumulatively contain some of the worst scoring areas within the city. Most of these areas here are full reconstruction. They're brick roads. If staff was to make a suggestion, it would most likely be Oak Street from 17th to 15th. That nearly fully encumbers the allotment for selecting a segment for reconstruction, and that it's not quite $400,000, but it does allow for a little bit of additional contingency for any unforeseens regarding stormwater in that area. That's an area of poor drainage. I've been in that system myself. It's a terracotta system with root infiltration. It's begun to collapse. The inlets are not up to standard. In fact, many of them were cast at the Palatka foundry. There was a Palatka foundry here. So the throats are about as large as a brick. We get far more water than those inlets can handle. So if there would be an area that is at least a candidate in that it has already received potable water rehabilitation in that area. And again, we've got monies that we can use out of utilities for capital to address some of the sanitary sewer issues in this segment as well.
And that makes sense. If the utilities obviously get, as you've said, get addressed first, and then these areas in such poor condition that it's so difficult to drive. I think we're all agreeing and we're relying on your expertise to make some of those calls based on all the effort you've put into this to date.
There's one other suggestion that I might offer since we're working with 425,000. The Bronson Street item has a rating of 5,
Yes.
which is distress. That is in zone 1. If you go back and look at the zones. And the projected cost is 425,000. And it's not going to involve sanitary sewer, potable, or stormwater, because you don't want to have to cut into a road that you've already repaved to go back and do sanitary, potable, and storm. The only challenge that you have if you were to select that one would be that there's potential grant funding in the Rays area, and there's potential grant funding for FDEP potable.
We are, that grant potential stuff, I don't want to hit.
No, yeah, we
Right.
don't.
Right.
Potential, yeah.
Understood.
That's only further delays.
Right. And so if you were looking at the zones that you wanted to impact, that's the only one that has a low enough paving rating that it makes sense to address it in the range of funds that you have available.
Okay, so obviously we've been presented with two possible options.
If you'd like to pick, either one is perfectly attainable.
Then you got Oak Street as well with a rating of a 2.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That would have, that was our original suggestion.
Right. In that section, zone 3.
And that's within the price. I mean, that's within the range as well.
390,000.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Full
I mean,
reconstruction.
either one of those would really
Mhm.
us, help in that regard.
Staff recommendation was Oak Street, right? That's your recommendation. That would be,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
in favor of that. Either or, but more so with staff recommendation of Oak Street.
What are anybody else's thoughts? I concur. Does anybody else have any other thoughts about one or the other? Or again, I thought the Oak Street option too at this time.
Would we like
So
to
we're
make a
talking
motion?
about Oak Street from 17 to 15.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
And Bronson goes from how far?
It is approximately, well, it's about double
1,350 feet.
the
Okay, I see.
length.
Yeah.
Yes,
You got
sir.
1,350 feet there.
And if we're interested, there's pictures available in the tab listed Bronson or Oak Street
Right.
in there. Might be difficult to slide through there, but
There
Okay.
you go.
so that's the segment of Bronson that's being addressed in that. And if you scroll down, there's some pictures of various imperfections within the roadway itself that would be addressed. I believe there's some speed bumps on this road as well.
And that's coming in from 19th Street.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
425, so that would meet,
That area is horrible.
that would meet, that's for reconstruction. Either one would be fine for me.
Can I just see the oak?
If Kara's listening, that's all the way to the right. You'd have to scroll to the right with the tabs.
Or you could click.
And based on this assessment of Oak Street.
So this is, it's got some overlay asphalt on top of brick. It's a fairly narrow road with no actual curb or gutter in it. You've got several utility cuts, active utility work that's taken place in the area where we've got unpatched segments. There's actually a piece of construction equipment in that picture. And again, it's the worst. And if you use the methodology within the report, it's the worst first methodology. So.
I'm with it. I just wanted, I think a visual, especially when we're talking to a room full of people, I think the visual kind of helps see the direction in which we want to go in. So I'm in favor of the recommendation that has come from staff.
Commissioner Brown?
I mean, you'll have 30 some thousand left, so you can just put that toward
We have to design.
Put it toward another.
I'm sure it'll
Well,
get used in the future.
that-
There's no worry.
That would actually be my second request. If we would like to make a motion on this to select it, I've got another discussion point I'd like to bring to you.
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second,
Oak Street.
yes.
A motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. McMillan.
Well, congratulations. We're going to go do that.
Decision.
That's job.
So within this request, there's a resolution essentially requesting that the city manager be authorized to execute a work order with CHW. They will work to create a proposal for design for this segment, not to exceed $100,000. But the real discussion is for future planning. And so CHW has provided this report. We've got a lot of color and we've got a fair estimation of some of the costs here. And if we were to carry forward a road resurfacing program into the future and that you've got a decade or more worth of work outlined in just these 4 segments for funding, and that's if we were very generous with funding. I would request, or you may just request staff to make selections, but if we can go ahead and maybe select a zone or even other segments just for, and staff can facilitate the acquisition of funds or finding those funds, but to consider for design in the future. Because what we've got right now is we've got our budget cycle coming up. And what I'd like to come to you with is a preparation for a decision unit for you to be able to either fund or select the next resurfacing project for next fiscal year. And we can build it into the budget at the conclusion of that exercise. And we would bring that proposal for design back to you at a later meeting, probably the next meeting. So if you have a zone specifically or any, I guess, direction based on this table, and you can pick up to $2 million, but we can work to create a design to have shovel-ready projects either for grant applications or for budgetary purposes going forwards.
Sounds like a good idea. Go ahead.
I have a question
Campbell.
before I make a recommendation for
Mhm.
that. So if you're on 19th and you're heading south, you cross over St. John's and you get to that brick road. That is completely horrible. A lot of us have had to go that way with the rerouting. It's right there with the greenhouse that sits on St. John.
Yes,
So
sir.
19 crossing over. Is there any type of, has that been brought to your attention, or is there anything that we can do to possibly bring that into some of the scope of work? Because like I said, I know for one of the main things of it, there's a tree root that's growing in the middle of the road.
Yes, sir.
So has that been brought to your attention, or is there any?
I'm actually happy you brought it up. It makes us look like we're very prepared. We're actually prepared to start reconditioning the segment where the tree was removed by the homeowner to smooth that out when we close that segment related to the actual utility work we've got going on now. So when the county's project goes through and reconstructs St. John's Avenue through there, we'll be able to piggyback off of their maintenance of traffic and start rebuilding the brick road segment there to smooth that out. And that could be another section that we kind of outline for design in the future. But we intend to address that, and we've already got the quotes and the vendors ready to move on that project.
I put in a work request. a
I
while back
believe
on that.
that may have been what spurred it.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any ideas about or recommendations, discussion about moving forward? So there is.
I think we gave them something to give us some time to buy in, so
And,
give
and
us a little opportunity to continue to think about it. I think we gave you enough to move forward with something, and then gives us a little bit more time to kind of think about.
Is this something we'll bring to the next meeting, or do you
I
want
would
to?
make that recommendation.
Okay.
they've done a wonderful job with putting this together. So they put a lot of time
great
and effort in it, and it's something that we really have to commend them about and keep it moving forward. Thank you for this.
Thank you. We'll make sure we make some decisions at the next meeting.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions that go at all regarding this table specifically or anything relating to this restriction, please feel free to reach out. I'm available at all times.
We're good. We got the tabs. We're good. Just, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, actually, one more item. That's the resolution actually to authorize the execution of the design proposal. If you would like to move forward with that, that would allow us to actually accomplish what we've selected tonight.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna read the resolution, Ms. Krantz.
Certainly, and I need a number, apologies, that's not there, but a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a work order with CHW for roadway design and CEI services for an amount not to exceed of $100,000 based on commission road segment selections and providing for scrivener's errors.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to what was B, discussion direction land swap, the St. John's River Environmental Center at 102 North First Street for 100 and 102 Reed Street. Request to Blue Crab Development Group North LLC. Mr. Douglas is coming up.
She's.
Hmm? Okay. Well, while they're setting up, we're gonna let everybody set up. It's gonna be a couple of minutes. So hopefully Ms. McCaskill's quick. Wait, no, you're gonna wait, please. Gee, I think by the time they set up meeting, the chairman will be back. I'm kind of hoping. We'll just wait a couple of minutes for Miss McCaskill to return and then we'll continue. Is there somebody here that is going to present on behalf of the Blue Crab Development Group? Mr. Douglas, please give your name and address for the record, 5 minutes.
Charlie Douglas, 117 North Second Street. Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Manager, Madam Attorney, and fellow citizens of Palatka. We are here tonight for further discussion about the future of the 100 block and the River Center. First, I would like to address Commissioner Campbell's question from the last meeting. How did we get here? The short answer is that I saw a need and an opportunity, which led to an open discussion with numerous stakeholder groups and individuals who collectively envision a revitalization of Palatka, our gem city of the St. John's. Many of us can remember a time when preservation of the historic buildings on the 100 block was in serious question. Fortunately, redevelopment of the historic buildings occurred in conjunction with the construction of the River Center. 4 years ago, it was my privilege and honor to move our offices to the 100 block. My personal office faces toward the river, and through my office window, I look at the River Center every day. It is no doubt a jewel in our downtown, but I think we can probably all agree that it is significantly underutilized. So I found myself asking, what can I do to help? How can I help awaken the River Center, help it reach its full potential, and help lift our community as a whole? Along the way, Mr. Alford entrusted me with another local jewel, the radio station, that has served this community for over half a century, delivering local content to our citizens. Bass Capital Radio would like to broadcast live from the banks of the St. Johns River inside a portion of the River Center. And this will serve as a place for locals and visitors alike to come in and hear about local events, participate in all the happenings, and learn what is special about Palatka. And it will keep the building open and fully staffed. We have already mobilized Bass Capital Radio podcast trailer, and we have begun capturing the incredible stories of our citizens that have woven the fabric of our history for generations. We want to activate the building itself so it is open all day with programming and wayfinding so people can learn about the rest of our community and launch out to explore all parts of the city and county. We want to activate the riverfront by leveraging one of the greatest assets in our town, the St. Johns River. Most importantly, we want to activate the hearts and minds of our youth, create a reason for them to stay, to plant their careers and families here at home. If you are part of the 100 block team, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Thank you. Collectively, you have our commitment that we will do right by downtown and make the city of Palatka proud. That is what led to the proposal that I have presented. We have prepared a contract for your review with the particulars from last commission meeting that has been reviewed by your attorney and has a built-in 4-month due diligence period. As for the price, it will be decided fairly, independently, and transparently by a neutral third-party appraiser. The city would gain a larger footprint to increase its available options, whether that include expanding City Hall or pedestrian bridge, or even revenue generating streams of income while planning longer term development. The land swap proposal before you follows the legal and established precedent of the city supporting adjoining property owners for economic development interests, which is in the overall public's interest. Municipal cooperation promotes real estate assemblage, unifies space for larger and bigger development that increases the tax base, ensures stability of business activities and private investment, while at the same time, it prevents discord and turmoil of unsavory uses abutting existing property owners who have tried to do good and raise the bar for our community. As you know, at the last meeting, there was a request to allow another potentially interested investor to submit an alternate proposal. I was able to have an extended conversation directly with that interested party. I'm happy to report tonight that as a result of earnest dialogue and open communication, they do not stand in opposition to our proposal as we continue to collaborate and make progress towards alignment that unites the business community. We ask for your support to join arm in arm to activate the River Center, bridge our city's past with our future, unite all voices in our community, and continue the positive economic revitalization of our downtown. We ask for your help to see a community lifted, a renaissance realized, and a vision fulfilled. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. We do have a number of public comments on this item. Ms. Kitchens?
Mayor, would you let me go last after the other people have spoken?
You're on top. I'm gonna come up. I'm sorry. Okay. You're number one here in this class.
Well, that's a change.
You're number one.
Better than number two. Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. This is a win-win for the city and Blue Crab Development. The city gets the rock property. That's what Blue Crab owns right now, adjacent to city property, adjacent to City Hall for free, and Blue Crab Development gets the rest of the 100 blocks, squaring off both properties. The city gets paid the difference between the appraised value of the River Center and the rock property, which according to the Putnam County Property Appraiser's records is $821,115 total. A private appraiser never comes in lower than the property appraiser's assessed value. Having the River Center area in the name of Blue Crab Development will make the total city and county taxes be $247,771.76. The total taxes removed when the city gets the rock property is only $6,991. That gives an increase in total taxes of $240,760.66 plus the over $821,115 in cash. Win-win. Don't forget that the total taxes coming in will mean more tax revenue for the central business TIF, which is also a win for the city and the citizens. And the city is not selling the River Center, just swapping. There are no laws, no rules of ethics being broken. Bex Loan Properties LLC owns the buildings facing St. John's Avenue from 2nd to 3rd Street and the Hotel James. But look at the difference between what they have done with their buildings compared to what Charlie Douglas has done with his. Charlie's are the showplace of downtown. So the question is, do you want to get the rock property free and clear, plus over $821,115 coming into your coffers by swapping the River Center with Blue Crab Development rock properties? Or do you just want to kick the can down the road and do business with some other person who hasn't shown himself to be a really good partner with the city? I'm asking you tonight to put the question of swapping the rock property for the River Center property, along with accepting the $821,115 plus, to a vote tonight and vote yes for the swap. Offers like this and from a reputable person don't come around every day. I'm asking you to put it on the agenda tonight and vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. George Deloach, please don't clap. I'm sorry. Mr. George Deloach, please name and address.
Good evening. I'm George Deloach. My address is 7300 Krill Avenue, number 11, Palatka, Florida. I am very much interested in what Mr. Douglas is doing. One, I'm a part of the radio station there, but first and foremost, I was a businessman and invested in Palatka. What happened in downtown Palatka when the Badcock Furniture Store, my in-laws decided we mutually agreed to build a new building. We looked around and we had the opportunity. Everybody was moving out to Highway 19. That's where Walmart was. That's where everything was happening. But I was born and raised in the Southside Historic District. And my investment, I thought, ought to go in downtown Palatka. And so with my in-laws, we talked about it, looked around to see what property was there, and you see Badcock Furniture where it sits at 1000 St. John's Avenue. It does that because we made an investment there. That store became the #1 gross selling store in the entire Badcock Corporation of over 429 stores right here in downtown Palatka. Downtown Palatka is a place for it to be. You have a man here that I've watched grow up. He went to school with my daughter, Heather. I watched Charlie grow up from kindergarten all the way through high school. I've seen him he was a man on a mission in elementary school. He's still a man on a mission right now. And he's a man on a mission to do the right thing for Putnam County and for what happens in downtown Palatka. You cannot make a better decision than what Charlie Douglas is proposing to you right now. As a former business owner in downtown Palatka, as a person that has grown up in the historic district, I implore you to make the right decision and make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold the applause, please. Dr. Feibelman. Please give your name and address.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to have a couple of moments to speak in support of the land swap deal that's before you. A few years ago, not quite 3 years ago, my wife and I, Donna Hersey Feibelman, had a bit of a dream about elevating the culinary experience and just the overall downtown experience. And we had the idea of putting in a restaurant, which we didn't know a lot about. But my wife, by the way, Donna Hersey, is a native Palatkan, and her dear parents, Don and Charlotte Hersey, are my great heroes of all time. But if you don't know Donna, she's the cute blonde in the teal scrubs in the back, but don't look now. But anyway, about the same time we started this, we were looking for a really a renowned chef. We didn't want to do the usual, and we wanted something special. And I don't remember if he found us or we found him, but we were able to come up together with a gentleman called Caleb Blake. Caleb is a culinary genius, I would have to say, and with his expertise and his blessing, we have been able to do some incredible things down there. And also, I want to thank you guys for all of your support and encouragement over the last couple of years as we've been growing this endeavor, which we had no idea what would happen. About the time we were putting this together, Charlie, excuse me, I've called him Charlie. I also knew him when he was just out of diapers. But you know, he was at 6 years old, he was able to carry on an educated conversation with an adult. So, and he's grown up now, so I better be quiet. He's bigger than I am. But anyway, what an incredible man. And so he offered us the opportunity to come into that environment. And at the same time, he was renovating and putting his dream into place with that 100 block. We have been so blessed to have that opportunity. And with that now, the restaurant there in the area shares a place where we employ over 50 people now. That's probably, I don't know how to verify it, but one of the higher employers of the county probably. And I mean, not the county, but the downtown district. And we have a total vision, just as everyone else here in the room does, to make this a very, very special place. We know that you have a great opportunity here in Palatka, and the riverfront is just primo and primed and ready and actually happening. I know that Mr. Douglas will be the same kind of incredible landlord for that River Center building that he has been to those of us in the other historic building that he's renovated. He's just put his heart and soul into this thing and not messed around. He's actually making it happen.
Thank
So I want to thank you for all the opportunity. Please do the right thing, a win-win situation for us all. Thank you.
Can you please give us your name and address for the record?
Richard Feibelman. My address is 110 Lakeshore Terrace, Interlochen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin Shabbat. Hold the applause, please. You're not, okay, thank you.
It's an attorney passing up and off.
I know, really. Jimmy Simons? Simmons? Will do. Please give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Jimmy Simons. Address 244 Port Comfort Drive, East Palatka, Florida, 32131. I've been asked to read a letter of support from Dr. Brian L. Bordeaux, PhD, Associate Professor of Marketing, Raymond J. Harbert College of Business, Auburn University, President and CEO of the River Street Group, LLC. He was a student in Putnam County, went through the school system for several years and participated in the Palatka Youth Athletic Program. He probably participated with some of your children, those of you that are in this room. The letter began, City Commission members and Mayor Correa. I am writing to demonstrate my support for the Blue Crab Development Group proposal. Being a native of Palatka, the downtown area is near and dear to me. I grew up on the corner of 15th and River Streets. I made countless trips down the hill from the top of the River Street on my bicycle to the riverfront downtown as a boy. I fondly remember Western Auto, McCrory's, milkshakes from Moore's Drugstore, and getting my hair cut by Bill the Barber. I will be discussing the value and assemblage in planning for future growth of municipalities and developers. I have been a marketing professor at Auburn University for the past 18 years. I hold a PhD in marketing, MS in demographic and demography and applied statistics, and then MS in marketing, all from Florida State University. I also obtained an AA from St. John's River Community College while playing on the baseball team. I likewise own a consulting company named the River Street Group. I named my company after the street I grew up on in Palatka as a homage to the place where I was raised. As a professor, I teach marketing strategy. This course focuses on financial aspects of marketing. In my role as a consultant, I specialize in expert witnessing for business damages, cases, corporate marketing strategy, and patent and trademark litigation. Thus, I feel confident in my ability to speak to the benefits of assemblage based on my academic and consulting experience. Assemblage in the context of real estate refers to the process acquiring multiple parcels of land in order to create a larger, more cohesive development. This can be done by either purchasing individual parcels or negotiating with multiple property owners to combine their land for a larger development. By combining multiple parcels of land, developers can consolidate infrastructure, utilities, parking, and other amenities, reducing overall costs. This can make the project more financially feasible and attractive to future investors. In addition to cost savings, assemblage also presents opportunities for developers to create more cohesive and integrated development. By assembling multiple parcels of land, developers have a greater control over the design and layout of the development, allowing for better integration of amenities, open spaces, and other features that enhance the overall quality of life for the residents. Furthermore, assemblage can also increase the marketability of a development. Larger, more integrated developments are often more appealing to buyers and investors, as they offer a wider range of amenities and more cohesive living environment. This can help drive demand for the development and increase the property values over time. Was that 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's been about that. No, you're really on. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Finish up, please.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's quite all right. It's quite all right. It's pretty lengthy, the letter is,
Yes.
but it's quite impressive as far as the strategy of assemblage, and what impressed me, I only got this letter today, but also included in your packet is Mr. Bordeaux's extensive and most impressive resume. And I was honored to be able to be asked to share this with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Laura Wallace, name and address, please.
I am Lara Wallace. My address is 1428 St. John's Avenue in Palatka. Madam Mayor, Commission, and all those who make this possible, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was born and raised in Putnam County, now with my husband, who is also a part of the 100 Block team, raise our 4 children here. I've worked with Charlie in many capacities for the last 6 years, now with Bass Capital Radio. I serve Bass Capital Radio as the podcast host. I have a great passion for this community and its members. I always said if I could talk and network all day, my dreams would be fulfilled. And through Bass Capital Radio and podcasting, my dreams have become a reality. I'd like to take a moment to share with you our endeavors thus far in this short video.
Is it on the web or is it on?
suffering and it's not able to.
Right, but the question is it
Yes, sir.
on the web or is it on a media, on different?
It's on a YouTube channel, a private link, so it is on the web,
So
not
it
on a
has to
media
go-
stick.
Go out, I mean, it would have been probably better if it would have been on a media.
No.
Could have
Um,
recorded it.
No, no. It's our AV, it's our system.
Okay, well, no worries. You guys all have the opportunity once that is live on YouTube. But I believe in partnership with Bass Capital Radio Podcasting and the work Charlie Douglas has done, not only there, but in many areas of our community. We have an opportunity to share the history, future, perspective from community members and events in a way that speaks to not only our radio listeners, but to our future generations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Patrick Kennedy.
I'll defer. We're getting a lot of good points without mine.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Curtis. Please give your name and address.
Cindy Curtis, 325 Round Lake Road, Palatka. I'm just going to be brief, I think. Just want to share my support. I've known Charlie probably since he was about 5 years old, known him growing up. I believe, as Mr. Deloach said, he's always had a lot of vision, dreams. But the interesting thing I've seen is that Charlie makes those dreams come true with the passion he has for Palatka. He could be in other places doing other things, but his home is Palatka and his love working with him daily. I see his love for this city. I see what he wants to do for this city and how important it is, the education. He pours back into our schools. He pours back into events in our community. It is his mission to make this city great. And I just thank you for considering his offer. And I believe he could do great things with River City or River Center, as he's done with the 100 block. And I'm privileged to be a part of that group. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment on this item? Please fill out a yellow common jump and give your name and address. Okay, I don't have it.
My name is Audrey Wise. I reside at 1610 Edgemore Street. I stand here as a person that feel that the riverfront is an ideal spot. It's a gem for the city. I totally am in support of anything that would enhance that. But my question as a GQ citizen is, I don't know Charlie like that. So my question is, I'm not sure what it is exactly he's proposing to do. That's why I came to this meeting. So my question is, are you going to bring businesses and entertainment and whatever to that site? That's a plus. But my question to the board, what are you going to do with the property that he's swapping? I don't understand this swapping stuff. How does that work? What is that going to do for us as a citizen after you do this swap? Can you answer those questions if it's possible to get a feedback from the council? What is your projection if you accept Charlie's offer? What are you going to do with the property that he swapped? Will that enhance you trying to build on it, improve or bring something to the city, or do we have the funds to build on it once you do receive it? And how is that going to look to me as a citizen of Palatka? That is my question to the board. And I know my time, but I would like to have feedback from you as well as Charlie. I want to see you to see what you're going to do. Because I think it's important for us to know what is going on, how it's going on, if you're projecting to do anything. And again, the first time I heard about this, I saw it on the agenda and I have no idea. I don't know Charlie like that, like I said, and I don't know what you're projecting. And if it sounds like what I think you're saying, that's a plus for us. But again, on the other hand, what are you going to do with the swap? Can we afford to do anything with it, or will it continue to look the way it is? So that is my question. And if it's possible to get some type of feedback from the council.
Thank you. Mr. Bell, would you like to speak to the property in question in terms of swapping as to what the city might project to do with that?
So
Right.
it's my understanding based on the proposal that there's a due diligence period that would allow us to look at the values of either of the properties. It's at the discretion and pleasure of the commission as to whether or not they see the value in that swap. Now, as far as what the vision is for the property that would be received, I don't have I have not seen any documentation as of yet that shows what that vision would be that has come from the city or the commission. So that still remains to be seen as far as I understand it.
So you're saying you're going to swap for something that you don't know what you're going to do with. Is that my understanding?
I think we have not discussed it. Go ahead, Ms. West. Right, with the public
I
comment.
understand that.
So we
But
really,
how,
we
as a
really-
citizen
we
to-
we'll discuss it and hopefully shed more light on it, but we can't have that dialogue during public comment.
but my question is, and I do, Chair, I agree with that, but I have a lot of people yield, so I figure I got a couple more moments. My question to you is, aren't you going to discuss what you might want to do with it before you do a swap?
Yes, obviously, and also as City Manager Bell mentioned, there will be a due diligence period for us to investigate the structure that's there and the property to make sure. But again, we're not dialoguing with you in public comment.
No
so
need
thank
to
you.
dialogue,
We'll
but
let
I
you
just
go
want to
for
make sure it's on public record that you're going to check and see what you're going to do with something that you're swapping, and that the citizens, we just have a property and nothing to be done with our financial obligation to put something on it. And if it's going to be like Charlie says, I'm sure Charlie would like something nice on that other side that will enhance what he's going to do. That is my question as a citizen, and I will be back to ask you this question again. Thank you.
Is there anybody else here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, discussion, direction.
I have a question about the land swap versus putting it out for bid, just making sure that we don't have no legal issues coming as a result. If we did the land swap versus putting it out for bid for others that are possibly interested.
Go ahead, Ms. West.
Right, so there is an attorney general opinion on this. You don't have to put it out for an RFP. As a matter of fact, the city just engaged and is currently undergoing a land swap, as you know, out at the airport for property there. So that also did not go out to bid. It is perfectly legally permissible to engage in the land swap.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I'm gonna tell we know that the conversation or the stunt that was pulled on last meeting, I would be remiss if we don't allow the individual to step up and show their support like they did against them prior meeting. That will give me some ease that nothing won't come up. I would love to hear them verbally support this endeavor that Mr. Douglas has spoke about.
Mr. Troiano, do you want to come up and speak and read that regard, or your attorney?
His attorney wasn't here when he spoke up the last time.
But if there is hesitation and they had a mutual conversation, if they came to a mutual agreement and had conversation, why is there hesitation in stepping up to the podium right now? That would be my question.
Yeah, I think I can answer.
You please come to the podium and give your name and address for the record.
My name's Josh Woolsey. My personal address is sealed. I'll give my work address. It's 203 Fort Wade Road in Ponte Vedra, Florida. So Charlie and I have talked the last, really yesterday and today. And where we're at is we're not here currently verbally supporting this, but what we've decided to do because of the short amount of time is we're going to meet next week. The group that I'm here on behalf of and Mr. Douglas's group have a plan to meet likely Tuesday of next week. And there's a very likely possibility that at the next meeting, we're standing up here in full support of what's being requested by Mr. Douglas. As of today, in good faith and conversations with Mr. Douglas, we decided to sit and not make public comment, as you saw. But we want to have a meeting next week with Mr. Douglas's team and think there's a high likelihood that we will be able to stand here in support of what's being requested. We just haven't had the time to all get together to have those lengthy discussions because there's a lot involved and there's a lot of questions on the side that I'm here on behalf of. And I don't know if that specifically addresses your question. I wasn't here at the last meeting, so.
Commissioner Campbell, does that address?
No. And I say that simply because he was bold enough to get before us the last time without seeking counsel. And again, if he's bold enough to do it then, he's bold enough to do it now on his word. That, again, we don't want anything to come that will bite us in the behind, for lack of better words. But then again, I've also got from what you're saying, be slow to speak next time.
Well, I think the issue is nobody wants unnecessary
That's
litigation or.
fine. It's done. You don't have to say anymore.
Sure,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What direction would the board like to take? Commissioner Madden.
I'm in favor. If there's no legal issues or concerns about this land swap, I mean, we got a lot of support in the community. Charlie has proven to substantiate his stances, justify, make moves and move forward with projects that he puts out. If they had conversations, I trust that they did. I'm in favor. I'm in favor of moving
I'm
forward.
not saying that I'm in favor. I'm just making sure my stance is same.
I'm in favor of moving forward. If there are no legal concerns related to it, I think we have a 4-month due diligence period. I'm not objected to it, so.
Commissioner Borum?
Well, I gotta look at the values and look at the entire package on both sides, what the city is giving up and also what we're getting and how could the city use that, and also maybe some things that it could be potentially put in the contract as it relates to staffing, and our staff was, I guess, occupying that space in addition to the volunteers that's over there. So I need to see all these things in a concrete contract put before us. Well, because we'll be voting on something that we don't have nothing in hand to be able to make a good sound decision on, in my opinion. So
A lot of that would be accomplished during the due diligence
Exactly,
period.
that would be my question.
And
That's
so
part of
that
this.
4-month due diligence period,
Yes.
a lot of that information would be obtained and researched and hopefully have, because of course, that due diligence period allows us, if it doesn't work out for the city, to say no, thank you.
Exactly.
Before that ends.
Correct, Mayor, and it's an excellent point, Commissioner Borum. As a matter of fact, we have a due diligence period for the airport land swap, so we could get all the permitting and all the designs for the new buildings under contract. And the same would apply here. We have an opportunity, a 4-month period, to gather that information and make that decision at the end of the 4-month period if we want to proceed. Or alternatively, we can also have the commission make a motion to extend the due diligence period if you feel like you just need a little bit more time, but this provides direction.
Go ahead,
If you
Commissioner
were to
Campbell.
entertain a motion, I will make a motion.
You or you?
I'll make a motion
Go ahead,
that-
Commissioner Campbell.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the land swap with the 4-month
Due diligence.
due diligence with the ability to extend should the city see fit.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. We have one, let's see, let's go on to the next item on the agenda. Hold applause. Thank you. Adopt resolution 2024. We'll let everybody exit first in the ruckus war.
Kind of liked it blocking my face.
Don't know whose it is.
But we have to continue our meeting. If you're going to exit, please do so. Please be quiet. We'll head out. On to our next item, adopt resolution 2024 R84, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest all documents necessary for the sale of 512 Emmett Street, Palatka, to Gary and Hollis Bliss, offer received prior to listing agreement being executed in the amount of $35,000.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pretty much
35,000.
gonna repeat the same thing. 2024 R84, a resolution of the city of Palatka authorizing the sale of 512 Emmett Street, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute and attest all documents conveying the transfer of the real property on behalf of the city, amending the 2023-24 budget accordingly and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, as you're aware, at the last commission meeting, you authorized entering into a listing agreement with Coldwell Banker, Mark Spalding specifically, for the sale of 512 Emmett Street. The listing price was set at $30,000. Prior to authorizing that listing agreement, we had a party reach out to the city and make an offer for the property. And as is customary in the industry, if you have a party reach out prior to being in an agreement with a listing agent, you can exclude that party from that agreement. So that was done. That first party, Mr. and Miss Hollis, or no, sorry, what's the last name? again?
Gary and
Bliss.
Hollis Bliss.
Bliss. Hollis is with us tonight, so thank you. Yes, she does. Yeah. So the Blisses made an offer. That offer was for $35,000. They subsequently agreed to additional terms, which was a reverter clause. Their intention is to build a single family home, of which they want to reside in. They asked for 5 years to do that. And if they do not start construction within that 5-year time period, the city retains the right to purchase the property back at market value. Once we had that, we put it on your agenda. And between the time when the agenda was published and tonight, we did receive another offer from the listing agent. That offer came in at $36,000, and they also included what's called an escalation addendum, where they agreed to go up in increments of $500 over the purchase price of the competing offer up to $40,000. So the main difference between the two is the reverter clause that they agreed to. The second offer stated that they intended to start construction of a house within 1 year and would agree to a 1-year reverter. So the city would be able to, if they decided, purchase that property back at market value if the second party doesn't start construction. I also want to point out that the difference between the price is not that much, but under the second offer, we are obligated to pay the broker's commission, which equates to $2,160. So if you take what appears to be the higher offer, the city actually nets a couple $1,000s less.
You get more, or you get quicker activity in terms of building, because you got a 1 year to start construction and get it done, and 1 year reverter. So that's quicker as opposed to 5.
Correct, sir.
I can actually make this conversation a lot shorter. The second contract is actually not a viable offer. The city of Palatka is not listed as the seller. It's Daniel Gornto. He's no longer the owner of the property. Because it is a real estate transaction, everything must be in writing. In common law.
So why are we even
I-
entertaining it?
It
Well,
was a review of the contract. I
Well, I believe that's just a Scrivener's error. I believe that the person that drafted this contract went and looked at the tax appraiser's record and they're not reflecting the city as the owner yet because the appraiser doesn't immediately change the owner of record once the contract is actually taken to recording. So
Okay. And I
she's
do
the
have-
attorney, but
Right.
I mean, that's a simple white out and change it to the appropriate seller, city of Palatka.
It is. Is there is there only one agent involved? Is it only Mr. Spalding?
Mayor, I honestly don't know. It was transmitted from Spalding.
Okay. Just because my thought on that is that Mr. Spalding does know the city owns it versus somebody else, but it's just a statement.
I just have a problem with what just transpired with our legal and our staff. Legal is here to advise us, and if she has advised us as of now, it's not a viable option, and staff has combated, including mayor, I am at very much a place of unreadiness to move forward. With regards to that, I am just, I don't think it's a good look.
And my apologies, I just had an opportunity to review the contract.
I mean,
very late in the day.
it is what it is, but
The key point is, I think, I'm not sure I don't know how long they had to, I guess, advertise or whatever probably to be able to allow for people to be able to bid on the property, and I don't know what methods they use. So with that being said, with the interest, I mean, would it be proper? Is this is time sensitive to the point to where it's $35,000?
Right.
So is it okay? Would it be okay to re-advertise and allow for others to be able to apply for the property?
Sure. So there are some time constraints. The Bliss contract, which is the first one for 35,000, has a deadline of April 12th, tomorrow, for the city to approve.
Okay.
Should the commissioners accept the seller as a Scrivener's error in the second Farron contract, that time for acceptance is a little later since that contract was just submitted to the city today. The final version was submitted at 1:20.
And just to be clear, the property has not been listed yet. This is offers prior to it listing going up. Are you Mr. Bell?
I believe it is currently listed. However, we did get an offer before
Before
it was listed,
listed.
and that's the offer that's before you.
And the one today came from the list.
Yes, that's correct. And that's why there is a commission involved in the second offer as opposed to in the first offer.
And
was
I do
excluded.
have, I know it's a Scrivener's error, but I do have concerns from my Realtor background that it was not filled out correctly.
So Mayor, I did review, it did come from another agent.
Okay.
And just for clarification, it has been on MLS for 3 days.
Okay, thank you.
So it's my understanding if that commission does not act today, that based on the offer, that it would expire and it would be up to the potential purchasers to either allow it to expire or to make another offer with another expiration.
I just want us to do best practices. I don't want us to put ourselves in a position to make it appear as if we're not being completely transparent or things of that nature. And that's just my only concern with this matter outside of what I've already stated. But again, when the citizens look to us, they look for transparency. And I just don't think as of now, not saying that we haven't been transparent, I just think that the way that things have played out doesn't appear to be as clear or precise, or even a system was in place for everyone to follow. And so if I have any reservations, those would be the reasons why.
Can I make a recommendation to
That's what I want
perhaps
to ask
resolve
for
the
your,
transparency?
your
Actually,
guidance in this whole.
Could do a
process.
highest and best
Does
with
it-
date certain.
Right, I was going to suggest something similar, have a drop dead date of all offers to be on the table. Then we can take it back for city commission approval of all the offers
I
that are
totally
are
agree.
currently on
Thank
the
you.
table.
I
Thank
would
you.
so move.
And we do, wait a minute, we do have somebody for public comment too.
And before you make a motion, if you could make a recommendation on the time frame as well.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the given time frame?
What's the standard time frame?
I'd say 2 to 3 weeks would be sufficient.
So our next meeting?
Next meeting?
In the
We
motion.
do have a public.
I don't want to say by next meeting, because if it closed,
Right.
we need a date.
So
So
give us
can
the
we,
meeting after that.
can we do the first meeting in,
May.
first meeting in May give you?
Yes.
First meeting in May?
To be clear, we would set the date prior to the
Right,
agenda
so it
deadline,
doesn't-
just so that you're aware. Yep.
Deadline. Yes.
Does that give you enough time?
Right.
Yes.
Attorney West.
Got it right.
I got it right.
Miss Bliss, Mrs. Bliss, could you please come up, name and address for the record?
Hollis Bliss, 134 Cedar Creek Road, excuse me, Palatka. And I thank the commissioners and Mayor Correa for listening to me. Frankly, I really don't understand what just happened. So we put forth our offer. I wasn't privy to the phone conversation that my husband had with Jonathan Griffith regarding the reverter clause, but in hindsight, after thinking about it and discussing it between ourselves, we're not really very happy about that whole situation. Also, in hearing that the second offer is wanting to include some sort of a clause where the offer increases in increments of, I think it was $500 above the previous offer. We're absolutely not interested. So we could probably cut this whole conversation short. We're not interested in getting into some sort of a bidding war over that lot. I mean, frankly, it's not worth it to us. So, I don't know where that leaves the whole situation. It might make it easier for you, but we're not going there. So, if you want to just perhaps take our offer out of the mix, it might be easier because it's getting way too complicated for a small residential lot, in our opinion. But we really appreciate your consideration, and we appreciate your consideration too. So, and thank you. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Okay, so with that, we need a motion.
We make a motion to,
Set for a date certain.
set for a date certain, all bids must be in prior to our first meeting, which date would you?
When is pre-agenda for May?
Yes, the deadline for agenda acceptance.
It would be the 30th of May for staff. I mean, April.
April.
So the deadline of April 30th, and if I can make a recommendation for none of the offers to have an escalation clause. And if the commission so desires for this reverter to be included in the contract, give me that direction and I will include it as a requirement for all offers. That reverter is basically if no construction activity has commenced in a 5-year time period, then the city has the option, it doesn't have to, has the option to buy back the property at the purchase price. The point being that we don't want a piece of vacant property sitting there forever.
So, yes, so they reverted to a maximum of 5 years. Is somebody gonna add that?
I would like to not have it at 5 years because you have property that is
3.
tied up that somebody else could be
Right.
potentially
Just give me a time.
utilize.
Just give
Well,
me, I
let-
think, yeah. so-
I would recommend.
Three.
No more than 3.
Okay, so Commissioner Campbell has to add that too.
She said a lot.
So I'm just asking that the stipulation
You're gonna change
include
the-
A reverter
The
clause.
timeframe is until the
April 30th.
April 30th,
Mhm.
reverting the reverter clause down to 3 years
Yes.
And no escalation.
and no escalation.
Second,
Thank you.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
All right, that's clean.
Okay, well, what's my agenda?
Hmm.
With that said, do we have any commissioner comments?
I just want to say, thank you to everyone that's pushed the St. John's Avenue repavement. We are finally seeing positive things being said within the community. Whereas before we know we've gotten beat down, but we're happy to see, that take place, and we're looking forward to seeing some more road, repavements within the city of Palatka.
Thank you. Commissioner Borrow?
I share that same sentiment as Commissioner Campbell, and there will be more St. John's Avenue completion with the city portion of that. I just want to give kudos to Mr. Bell's father, Big Bell. He's Little Bell, his dad is Big Bell. He gave $1,000 for our youth to be able to go down to the Magic versus the Clippers game in Orlando on the 29th. And we took about 25 students down, and we had 10 chaperones. So that all went well. The experience went well. And I also like to thank Sarah and Associates for the bus down and also the tickets associated with getting into the game. And want to thank all the chaperones who assisted with that process. So everybody had a wonderful time. The kids had a chance to go down and cut the nets down at the end of the game. So in most cases, you never get a chance to touch NBA floor. So, and most of our students don't get a chance to much go out of Putnam County. So kudos to everybody who participated and helped. And I returned the additional portion of the money that we did not use. So just wanted to have that out into the public. We returned $300 out of the $1,000, so we used $700. All right. And with that being said, I want to see if I can get the detailed departmental report. I don't know what the status is on that. I requested for that, Mr. Bell. And also Putnam Boathouse Marina contract, the performance on that particular contract, where we're at on that. This thing has been going on for over since 2012. And so we want to make sure we get that into play.
Okay.
Other than that, I want to thank staff on the wonderful job that they do on a day-to-day basis and continue to do the work, and we'll support you where we can. And likewise, I hope you guys support us. That's all I have.
Commissioner McCaskill?
Very appreciative of staff, share the same sentiments as the other commissioners. That's all.
Same here. Thank you. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to.
Okay, thank you all.